So tonight, Dr. Rick Dina. Rick has been studying health and nutrition since 1986. He's been a raw food vegan since 1987. He's worked at Hippocrates Health Institute, True North Health Education Center, I think that's about when I met you, has taught at Bastyr University in Seattle. And at this point, he and his wife, Dr. Karen Dina, who are both the raw food doctors, have closed down their health center in Marin, have moved back to Sonoma County, and are focusing on writing books. But they also remain as faculty members at the Living Light Culinary Institute. So I'm so thrilled that he's back in town, living back in town, and we can access him for things like this talk. What do you need to know? What you need to know to water fast and juice fast successfully. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, well, thank you all for the warm welcome. I appreciate that. And the other day I saw this Time magazine article. I don't know if you can see it there on camera. The health issue. It's dated June 22nd, and it's got a picture of a hospital bed on the front, and it says how to not end up here. And it says it's all about prevention. The first step towards containing healthcare costs is avoiding getting sick. And here's what it takes. I'm not going to read the article. I haven't read this to you yet, but we're going to talk about some things that you can do to avoid ending up there, because it's not a place that most of us want to be. Does anyone know the #1 cause of bankruptcy in the United States? For healthcare costs. You know, people are underinsured, or even if they have insurance, sometimes they get some terrible disease. They have $300,000–400,000 worth of healthcare costs. They can't pay them. They lose their house. They have to move back in with their kids. All sorts of stuff. So health is extremely important, and it's really good to see you all here. Now, certainly the things that we put into our mouth, or that we don't put into our mouth, have a huge influence over our health. And in terms of nutrition, if we could break nutrition down into two basic parts, there is getting all the nutrients that you need, #1, and #2, there is freeing your body from the things that interfere with its optimal functioning. And if you're doing those two things, you've basically got it covered. Now, in today's world, the first one is given the most emphasis. You need to take this supplement and this superfood, and you have to get this and you have to get that, and that new discovery says you need this, and you got to spend $400 a month on getting everything you need. And we're still we're still getting lots of heart disease, cancer, other problems that end us up here where we don't want to be. Really, though, if in those two equations, getting what you need and getting rid of the things that interfere with optimal health, I would have to give a heavy favoritism towards removing the things that interfere with your body's optimal functioning. And that's really essentially what fasting and cleansing is all about. It's about getting rid of things that allow your body's self-healing capacity to express itself most fully, so you are free from disease. I went to a lecture a number of years ago, and they were talking about sort of philosophically where people are with healthcare. And they said most of society, it waits till you get sick, and then they have some way of treating and intervening. Let's wait till you get your blood pressure too high, and then let's give you a medication. And then there may be other side effects from that, but don't worry, we have other drugs to counteract side effects, and you're sort of scrambling after the fact. Then they said, a little more progressive than that, is prevention. Well, let's do things so we don't end up there in the first place, and that's good. But at the same time, you're going around preventing everything, and can you think about everything? Prevent this, prevent that, prevent that. I got to take my prevent high blood pressure pill, and this prevents cancer, and that prevents heart disease, and this prevents arthritis, and it can get rather complicated. And although the talk I went to, their approach was a little bit limited, I liked what they said next. They said the really ultimate thing is to focus on creating health. And that's really what we should all be focusing on, is creating health. But we're automatically preventing things, and then we're not ending up where we don't want to be. So cleansing, keeping your body free of waste products, is an extremely important part of that. Now, the focus on this talk is not going to be about all different, what's the best cleanse program out there, and what product should you take, and all this type of stuff. It's going to focus on that our body has the ability to heal itself. which is really nice. So I have a bunch of cuts here. We've been remodeling and moving recently. I was trying to scrape some paint off a door the other day with one of those razor knife things, and I just went right into my thumb. Got a nice slice. And it's coming along here. I didn't have to take the ultimate skin renewal, advanced formula program, or I didn't have to do anything. I just put a Band-Aid on it, and it's healing. Body heals itself. That's pretty cool. Just before, as I was telling my friend John here, I was moving a desk because my wife is off at IKEA exchanging some furniture and shouldn't have been doing it myself, and I hacked up the door frame, and I thought, oh gosh, and I rubbed my hand on it and I jabbed a splinter. So now I have a new Band-Aid. And the thing is, in a few days, this new cut is going to look like the old one that's almost healed. The body has the ability to heal itself. So let's talk about fasting and cleansing. We all know that we get energy from food, right? Would we agree? How many people have not eaten for days or weeks at a time? Few of you. Do you have are you just loaded with energy when you're not eating? Usually not, right? So we get energy from food. But how about when you have that big holiday meal and you eat some of this and some of that and some of the other thing, and before you know it, you're stuffed. Now, in that case, you'd think you'd have a lot of energy because we get energy from food, and if you've eaten a lot of food, do you have a load of energy then usually? You don't, right? I mean, what happens at Thanksgiving? We eat a lot of food, and we sit down in front of the TV and we watch other people exercise. We don't have enough energy to go out and exercise. So in any case, the idea is anytime that we lighten our digestive load, eat a little bit less, or in the real extreme, water fast, we are freeing up energy to let the body heal and repair itself. Because our body only has a certain amount of resources that it can allocate toward different activities. Imagine if you're working 90 hours a week and you've got to do some remodeling of your house. Are you going to get a lot done on your house if you're working 90 hours a week? Probably not, because there's just not enough time to do everything. But what if you cut back to 40 hours a week? Or what if you work a part-time week and only work 20 hours? Do you have the chance to get more done on your house? Probably, as long as you schedule it properly, you'll have the opportunity. So similarly, let's say you're like the average American, like Dr. John McDougall likes to say, every breakfast is like Easter, every lunch and dinner is like Christmas or Thanksgiving, and every dessert's like a birthday party. So let's say you're doing that constantly, 3 meals a day or 4 meals a day, all week. Do we think that is going to allow your body's resources to cleanse, heal, and repair themselves most effectively? Probably not. If you eat a little bit lighter, your body has the ability to eliminate its normal metabolic waste. And that's where fasting comes in. So we're really lightening the load to let the body heal itself. And that is, in terms of cleansing or fasting or the benefits of raw food diets, that is, in my opinion, the most important concept we could possibly understand. Far more important than where do you get this, that, and the other thing, and which version of this do you take, or what's the latest and greatest. That concept that the body heals itself if we give it the chance, the biggest thing going. Raw fruits and vegetables are easier to digest in general than meat and potatoes. So that's a huge part of the benefit of going on a raw food diet. We free up a lot of our body's resources, our body works better. All right, so let's just say you want to do something like a juice fast or a water fast. Let's talk about those, because that's what we're here to talk about tonight. Now, a juice fast, it's very interesting. There are some people kind of really hardcore and fanatical that would argue with the term juice fast. They'd say it's an oxymoron, because ultimately fast means to abstain. And when you're consuming juice, that's food. You're not abstaining, you're consuming it. And I used to get really annoyed with that. And I was like, oh, relax. Everyone knows what a juice fast is. It means, you're just drinking juice. You're not abstaining from juice. You're just drinking that. But over the years, I've met different people who have had all different ideas of what a fast is. Years ago, when I was at True North Health Education Center, as Shea mentioned, I had a new chiropractic patient. And on the intake form, she checked off that she fasted before.